I'm Kylie Robertson, I'm 31 years of age and I'm a sports physiotherapist. My job involves working in the clinic. The hours vary from some mornings I'll start at 7, go right through till 8 o'clock at night because most patients want to come before and after work. So I treat patients in the clinic every 20 minutes, so it's quite busy. Today I'm working on Priya Carey. She's a 100-metre sprinter. She's in the Australian senior team and she'll be going to the Commonwealth Games next year if all goes well. Priya has a sore back and hamstrings, so now I've just got nice tight glutes, so getting stuck into that. And the elbow's a good technique for that, to save the hands. Also I work with a couple of teams, so I'll involve going to training sessions with them to check any injuries post-games, and also going to games with netball teams that I work with and going out to the track and field. I grew up doing a lot of different sports, very sporty family, did gymnastics, netball, ended up specialising in track and field. My main event was 400 4 hurdles, and I represented Australia at the World Junior Championships. And then I had a lot of injuries through my career, which is when I first came in contact with physios and ended up actually having a career-ending injury. The injury was during a meet when I was racing down the AIS, and I was doing 4 hurdles, and as I landed over one of the hurdles, I heard all these cracks, so that's why I finished running. Because of that, I broke my foot and had to have an operation, a couple of operations on that. So that's when I went full bore with my physio to try and prevent that happening in other athletes. Probably my first experience with physios was when I went overseas for the World Junior Championships, and a couple of physios came away with us, and I thought, wow, this is great, coming away overseas and travelling. And that was my first real interest. Now that I'm a physio and I've gone away on the same tour, I realise how hard they worked. The downsides to this job is it's very manual, very physical job. So your fingers, your thumbs get sore, your forearms, your neck and your back. So you have to look after yourself as well. Because you're working on a time schedule every 20 minutes, you can't be taking social calls at work or having coffee and sitting down and having lunch breaks and checking your emails and doing all those nice things. I love this job. Yeah, of course with every job you're going to have its negatives, but overall, if I had to choose my career again, I would choose the same job. The best thing about physio would be working with elite athletes. Travelling, obviously overseas, is a great bonus, and just not sitting behind a desk in an office, I think it's great. When I was little growing up, I always wanted to be a PE teacher, and then as I got towards the end of school and got more into elite sport and the athletics myself and became in contact with physios, then I slowly changed my mind. However, I didn't think I'd get the marks for physio, which are a little bit high, unfortunately, because of the demand. So I just did a bit of research and spoke to a lot of physios about if there was any other way of getting in, and found out I went and did another degree first. So I ended up at uni for 8 years, but ended up as a physio and doing the job that I wanted to do and I love, so it was worth it. And these last 2 years I've been doing my masters, back at uni doing my masters in sports physio, which is the highest qualification you can get in order to be a physio, and that allows you to travel over to the Olympics and away with Australian teams. My advice for kids that want to get into sports physio would be to go and pursue it, find out some information about it, go and hang out with some physios, go and have some treatment to see what it is, go and hang out at a sporting event to see the work that they do. You don't necessarily have to have a background in sport or be an elite athlete, obviously an interest in sport, but by no means having to have been and excelled as an athlete when you're younger, definitely not. Physio is one of those occupations we constantly need to do continuing education to make sure you're up to date with all the latest techniques and what's going on. Knowing about the body and anatomy is extremely important. You need to know specifically where muscles attach and where they go from, and the nerve supplies to that area, because it's instrumental in healing and treating their injuries. Today is the Institute netball team who I work with, and I go down to their trainings once a week, check out the injuries, see how they're going, strap up the injuries and take them through their warm-up and their recovery, their stretches, some yoga, some relaxation techniques and warming them down. We do it, especially if they're away on a tournament in between games, just to help release, stop getting the soreness post games in between the next game, and which will decrease the amount of injuries that they get. When I first started working with elite athletes and met some of the Olympians, it's quite starstruck, and it can be quite exciting, and you can get a bit nervous. But after training them one time, you realise they're just like any other people, and in actual fact, they can be quite high maintenance. So it's not all that it's cracked up to be, and they just they're like any other normal person you have a normal conversation with, and just talk about normal things, so that all dies down pretty quickly. Being a sports physio was my dream job. Working in this clinic is something that I always wanted to do. I've travelled overseas with Australian junior teams, but my ultimate goal is to go and travel to the Olympics and Commonwealth Games with the team. So that'll be the pinnacle of with my physio.